Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Booksandbounty TV. I'm your host, Stephanie Henderson. We are live in the Booksandbounty She Suite tonight. I want to say thank you for joining us. Tonight we have a special guest, Stephon Fowlkes, author of Project Blackbeam, published by Silent Books Publishing. If you check out my Twitch stream as well as YouTube stream tomorrow, you will see highlights from the Silent Books Publishing fundraiser event. They hosted that tonight at Motor House in Baltimore, Maryland. So check out Silent Books Publishing on Instagram. Again, silentbookspublishing.com. They are a local collective of self-publishing authors. And tonight we will be talking with Stephon Fowlkes about how he became a writer, a little bit about him, and Project Blackbeam. First, give a shout out to booksandbounty.com. As you all know, we are an editorial production company specializing in telling the story of indie publishers, self-publishing authors, and nonprofit organizations. Check out booksandbounty.com or email me at steph@booksandbounty.com to find out more information about how we can help tell your story. And last but not least, a lot of the music you heard today, or some of the music you heard today, music you will hear often on my channel and in highlights. Shout out to Chill Hop Music. They're a lo-fi music group that I've been following for a while, and they help creators with audio by giving open source and free access to many of their songs. So check out chillhopmusic.com. All right. So at every show, we curate bookish things, people, and events. That's what we're all about here at Booksandbounty. And so the three things that we'll be discussing today all surround Stephon Fowlkes and some of the experiences him and I have encountered in the last week or so. So first we'll talk about the Black Wall Street Expo.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to back up a bit. I want to talk about how we met.
Okay.
We met at the Baltimore Book Festival,
Yeah.
which was held in Waverly, which is such a Baltimore typical neighborhood. It's kitsy. They are independent booksellers and bookshops right next door to beauty supply stores and chicken box places.
Yeah.
It screams Baltimore. They have a Saturday morning farmers market there that's lovely. So support historic Waverly Main Street.
It's Greenmount, right?
Greenmount Avenue. Yep, right on Greenmount Avenue. And the book festival was held between 31st and 32nd Street, I believe, this year. City Lit Project sponsored and sponsors the Baltimore Book Festival. It used to be down at Enoch Pratt, and now it's in Waverly. So check out City Lit Projects. They're on Instagram at citylitprojects.org. So we met there. So tell me how you got to get to the Baltimore Book Festival, because that was a pretty big event.
Yeah, so sitting in the house trying to figure out how to get the book out there, being a self-published author, you have to really figure out the avenues on your own.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend, she likes to do research with me as well,
Mm-hmm.
and she forwarded the book festival to me, so I just went ahead and followed the avenues, paid my vendor fee, and I was in there.
And talk about, building community and having that support system. Myself, self-publishing authors, people
Right.
ask us, who's on your team? Are you
Right.
hiring yet? No, I'm
Right,
not
right,
hiring
right,
yet.
Right.
But it's about the people who you put around you who's going to support you and help you move forward. So shout out. You want to give her a shout out right now on live?
Yeah. My girlfriend Ava. Thank you, boo.
Ava's behind the scenes here in the G-Suite as well.
Yeah.
So we met at the Baltimore Book Festival. I was immediately drawn to. First, you guys know I love speculative and science fiction, and it's got a young black man on the cover. Let me run to it, right? And then when I found out more about what Silent Books Publishing is about, and that's really telling the stories, the untold, the unsung stories that sometimes publishers may not pick up in the mainstream,
Yeah.
I said, I need to find out more. Turn the corner, and I come across your booth, find out that you are a self-publishing author with that collective.
Yeah.
And so that will be then we decided, we connected, I reached out to you and I said, hey, I am hosting what I'm calling the Booksandbounty Traveling Book Nook. And that's where I'd like to curate bookish things and books, things, and other experiences that bookish people would like. So Stephon was there, and we had a few other authors on display. I'll make sure those are in the description. We had Kendall Lanice. She is a life coach. She is the remix coach. She has 3 self-help books that we featured in the Book Nook. One of my favorites is called Your Unhealed is Showing.
Mm-hmm.
And so check her out at Kendall Lanice on Instagram. We also had The Fire Inside Volume 3. The Fire Inside is written and published by a local sisterhood of writers called their Zora's Den. So that's Zora's Den on Instagram. And they are on the third volume of their collection of stories, poems, words, and remarks. So pick that up. You can get it on Amazon. They're actually located up on Greenmount Avenue. They have a reintroduction of the collective. They are trying to expand, so engage with them and check them out.
It's like an anthology.
Yes, it's an anthology. It's their third anthology.
How many of them is it? You know?
Of how many is in the Writers Collective?
Is in their last project.
Let's go see. So this is what I like about Stephon. He asked me about my own collection of books. So
which is expensive, might I add.
So you'll see this flash across the screen, everybody. But and this is The Fire Inside: Collected Stories and Poems from Zora's Den, Volume 3. Victoria Adams Kennedy, who is the founder of Zora's Den, is the editor, and they have special guest editor Bernice L. McFadden. So we're looking in here. And I have not yet gotten into this yet. It is in the to be read pile. But the TLC contains upward of, let's see, it's about 20 to 30 works.
And they got different authors, right?
Yep, a different author for each one. So, for example, we have...
Is it completely women? I'm sorry.
Yes, it's all women. Yep, all women. So we have Asking the Mirror by Angel C. Dye. Let's see some other interesting titles here. Ode to Turquoise by Portia Simmons. She Put a Spell on Him, My Father and Nina Simone by Janine DeHoney. So some interesting, again, poems and shorts from Zora's Den. Yeah. And because of the community we're building at the Book Nook, just so happened that another self-publishing author, a young Black man by the name of Marquise Carrington, stopped by with two of his books, collections of poetry and thoughts, that he was able to also share with the community. You can check him out at Charm City Bipper. That's
Charm City. He knew you.
Right. He sat down. He stayed for hours.
Yeah.
The fellowship that we had among the community, people coming in asking you questions about how you guys published. Everybody was excited to get signatures and signed copies of the books.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting. So what were some of your best experience from the Black Wall Street Expo?
Just being a part of the Nook, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Just being part of the Nook is a beautiful space that you had. To know that you just started, and you were on your 31st day.
Yeah, it was my 31st day.
The space that you created was so comfortable. You had the rugs, you had the nice plush seats. Everything was set up and displayed beautifully. It felt like home out there, like just a beautiful place to read. You could just sit up out there and read right in your space. So I definitely appreciated that. Mm-hmm. And then I came to set up my poster and everything. Yeah. It fit right in. So that was definitely a highlight. And then just being out there with the entrepreneurs, Kai Jackson, the retired WJZ anchor, was there, and he was very inquisitive, very communal. It was a pleasure speaking with him.
And shout out to Kai, because he was actually one of the only mainstream media personalities from the area that came in and showed some love. Yeah. So shout out to Kai Jackson.
Very genuine guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And expect some big things coming from him soon as well.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to let you guys know that the Black Wall Street Expo is annually every September. It is hosted by Notre Maison Connects. Jackie Cummings is the founder of Notre Maison Connects. You can find them at NM Connects on social media or nmconnects.org. They're located down in the 25th Street corridor in Baltimore. They do some great things working with youth and others in the community. Jackie Cummings is a connector of movers and shakers in the city, especially among small businesses. So check out NotreMasonConnects.org. Support them. They have a new establishment down on 25th Street, the Chill Spot. where you can get artisan treats and shaved ice all year round. I think they'll be having some horchata on the menu soon.
Very natural flavors.
Yes, it was delicious. And so check them out. The Chill Spot down on 25th Street. All right, so that was our bookish event, the Black Wall Street Expo.
Yep.
Obviously, our bookish person of the evening is Stephon Fowlkes, and our bookish thing tonight is an actual book, Project Blackbeam. As you know, speculative science fiction is dear to my heart. It is a space in which finally I feel like Black authors are finding their own foothold in. And to see Black men authors, young Black men authors getting into this space is it really lightens my heart. One of my favorites, she's in the top 5 authors, is Octavia Butler.
Yeah, 100%.
She is the mother of Black science fiction. And she is a world builder, a mastercraft in world building.
A beast, yeah.
If you have read any of Octavia Butler, I actually probably will do some special segments on some of my favorite authors, so look out for that. But right here, we're talking about Project Blackbeam. The way I describe Project Blackbeam is right now, and mind you, Stephon had the foresight to start writing the story a few years ago.
Yeah.
But if we all know about Project 2025 and the conservative radicalism, let's just say racism, that is throughout that manifesto
document
there. And if you can imagine if Project 2025 was on steroids, what would the United States look like in 100 years,
I love
right?
That. That is exactly what it is.
And this book, what is so awesome about this book and what we're about here at Booksandbounty is finding new and innovative ways to engage and reach your audiences. Project Blackbeam has a unique structure in which throughout the book you encounter supplemental materials, digital supplemental materials.
Yep.
And tell me the name of, tell me a little bit about your synopsis for Project Blackbeam, and then we'll talk some more about those structural elements.
Okay, so synopsis, basically, the year is 2091, and white supremacists have infiltrated the government and key positions to enact laws that affect Black folks specifically. One of their most notable was the illegalization of rap music. They take they cite different instances where rap music is just radical and sort of akin to terrorism, and they use that to in court and different things to make rap music illegal. So then from there they use rap as probable cause to do what they want. So these white supremacists, they're in the military, they're in the police, they're in the FBI. So they took their time to put themselves in places where once things started going nuts, there was nobody to hold them accountable. And eventually their plan to create a genocide for Black folks takes off. And after many years, the world just has a different landscape. So then you find X, who's on the cover. X is a teen, and he grows up in the aftermath of this, and he doesn't know anything about his history. He grows up in the system. They raise him, and he's one of the few Black folks that are left. Like the numbers are dwindled to a state of emergency by 2091, and he doesn't know his true history. He doesn't know why rap music was really made illegal. He doesn't really know what rap music is. He just know that it's bad. And he know that his people pretty much were primarily the ones doing it. So it really unravels in a very new way. I believe it's very innovative way to tell so many different stories. And it's a very powerful tale. And I think that so many people could benefit from listening and learning about this story.
And so let's talk a little bit about the elements, because if you were listening closely, a lot of what he said about, white supremacists, power in the government, power within systematic racism, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're familiar with today.
Yeah.
And what is so frightening and also so captivating about this story is that it is an exercise in building a dystopian world. And the thing about a dystopia is that it is familiar.
Right.
And so, what I like about this book, you mentioned that X does not know his history, right? And so, as part of your world building exercise, I noticed that the first few chapters of the book, before we actually meet the characters, are almost set up like an academic text, an accessible academic text, an engaging academic text. But it takes a look at the dissection of rap music, which is called the God tongue in your story. Literally now, the fear that people have that rap music is so powerful. It is so powerful, right? That it can physically change someone, right? Right now, a lot of what the fear mongering is around rap music today. You know, Young Thug is in prison. They're trying to use his lyrics to get not in prison. He's on trial, trying to get his lyrics. He's in prison and on trial. Poor man. And trying to use his lyrics to get him. You know, like we all know this trial is a sham. Of who knows if whether he did anything or not. Now it's just it's a joke to our justice system. And the twisting the artistry and using it against us as a theme throughout this book. You started yourself as a music artist way back when, early when you started playing the trumpet. I played the clarinet. Played a few instruments all my life, but the music thing did not stick with me. Tell a little bit more about how it stuck with you and how you are actually, that seems to be taking off a little bit in your life too, along with the writing.
So when it comes to music, I started as I was small. What captivated me was the look. I saw a shiny object and I thought it was so cool, and it was a trumpet. And my people immediately supported me. And at my elementary school, they had programs. One of the most amazing programs in the city at Glens Falls with under Mr. Pope. And we had a jazz band there, and I just enjoyed performing and feeling the vibrations of music through my body and seeing the reactions of people as we just performed. And then I ended up following music all the way through high school. I went to Baltimore School for the Arts for the trumpet. And then while I was there, I kind of pivoted because I saw so many people leave from there and not end up doing what they were doing. And it was kind of like I was in that figuring out myself phase in my life. So I pivoted from the School for the Arts to try to pursue sports and different things. But then I ended up making beats because that was more captivating to me. They really didn't have programs like that for like making beats or anything at School for the Arts. So I started doing that for some years, and then I started rapping on my own beats, and I was good too. So that like took me into rap, which was basically how I figured that I was going to make a living, and really jumped in there, and it followed me all the way through writing this book.
You still perform today?
Yes. So I performed over the summer at a pool party, and you know, it's cool. I don't know. I just get into it when I can. I'm not really pursuing it in the same way anymore. I used to want to be famous off of it. I used to want to get like rich and famous off of rap music, but I learned so much, and it's just like if it's for you, it's for you. I'm not finna keep trying to change who I am or like bending who I am. If I drop my music and only a few people get it, it is what it is. I'm not gonna bend my back trying to impress.
And you never know. You always need that one song to introduce everybody to everything.
So
it could still happen.
And that's right. That's how I feel about it. So I do it as a passion now, and then that's really what led me into making the book about the rap being so powerful is because by being passionate about rap, I really dived into it so deep because I thought in the process of trying to become famous and trying to get like notoriety, I figured the best route was to be genuine and really put your whole soul into what you create. So I figured if you put your whole soul into what you create and you're genuine, then you should probably come up with a hit. I didn't get one yet, but what I did figure out was the what they call it, the metaphysics of music. From being so deeply invested in it. It's not like I was just on the surface just like rapping, trying to get me a hit. I was actually trying to figure out what in my soul need to happen for me to get where I need to be.
Transformation process.
Yeah, and it was this beautiful tale about what I coined to be the God tongue, where you can really. I mean, I've seen it myself.
Yeah.
I've seen some
word,
freaky stuff. Yeah, so that's honestly why I could get this book out, because even through rapping and being on stage and moving crowds and seeing what I've seen through freestyling, I've seen magic and it just wound itself up so well with this story, and I was able to tell it. You know what I mean? Even if I don't myself reach it, X can.
Yeah. And let's talk about that, because it does read like a personal manifesto, a call to action.
And let me before you, please keep your thought.
Okay.
But I looked at your collection, and I am personally excited about what you think about this book.
Yes.
Because I know that you know a good book.
So so let's give a little snippet of a Booksandbounty review of Project Black Vein. So I love the story, and I love the character that you're building.
Okay.
X even though X is in the future, and he is in the world that is familiar yet totally foreign to what we know now as a people and as a nation.
Yeah.
His voice is young and contemporary and fresh. There are some other young Black artists who are in the fantasy sci-fi section. You guys may have heard of a book called Blood at the Root. Yeah. It's a popular book out right now by Darian Williams that's getting some traction. The story in that book is great. Yeah. But it feels, I'm going to try not to be that harsh, but it sometimes it feels like an uncle trying to be hip when it comes to using just the dialogue and the character building, right? Okay. Like the protagonist in that book, he's a cool kid, right? But I feel like the narrator is not doing him justice of making him be a cool kid. Okay. X is a cool kid, and you relate to him, and I feel like the language you use, the references you make, one, it's hard to date a dystopian story, right? Right. But it's also, you don't seem like you're trying so hard. Like, you can tell that you are writing from a voice familiar to yourself. Right. Okay. And that automatically makes me more comfortable as a reader, right? See. It's not jarring. However, I do have some constructive criticism.
Please. So,
it's a double-edged sword when you try to mix in different elements with books, right? Yeah. There you have illustrations. Yeah. There are supplemental digital media. Yeah. I think at times you could do a better job of helping the reader navigate that. Okay. I don't think there should be less. Okay. So there's moments where you encounter one of the devices, right? And
the QR codes.
The QR codes. And what's the device called again? Because it's
a scribe. I think it's a scribe 4.
Scribe 4, yes. So the scribe 4s, as a reader, you can actually.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if they could see. I can hold it up.
Oh yeah. So as a reader, you can actually participate as one of the characters and scan your scribe 4 and get supplemental materials. I love that you did this. There's like soundtracks, there's extra chapters and content. But I think bridging those two worlds, like I don't know if I should just stop now, as this is something that I can go do later. You know.
No, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Yeah, you gotta stop.
Right. Yeah. And so and then that transition back from the digital to the book, you got to bring the reader back to the book, right? Like, how do you? So I think that could do a better job of blending that, but not. I don't think it should be less of it. I think you just need a better job of
like a transitioning
and referencing the reader. Like, for example, for the scanner and readers, like those could be different sort of symbolic elements you use throughout the book to sort of say, come back to this. Or even when you're on the digital, like it's a sort of key and lock and code for the reader as they follow along.
Okay. So like supplemental.
Yes. So connecting, doing a better job of bridging the supplemental with the book itself. So bringing the reader back from that online world back to the novel itself, right? And
I can work on that, because
and the thing is, in the next edition, this is book 1, everyone. So there will be another book, and that's the kind of thing that's why even the best authors have different versions of the same book, right?
Well, it's editable, so it's a website, so I can just go and try and figure out how to fix it.
And that's the flexibility of, working with the new technology in publishing.
Yeah.
And so let's see, what other things do I have here? Oh, one of the interesting, we talk about how this book really allows the reader to learn about history going on, their history, and things happening right now, so they can speculate and comment about their future.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned from the book was about drowned towns.
Yeah.
We all know about Lake Lanier.
Yes.
I did not know how prevalent that experience of dislocating, destroying communities and homes, whereas in Black America, but also poor white America as well.
Yeah.
There are plenty of drowned towns in West Virginia and throughout Appalachia.
Yeah.
And that was something that made me myself go online and Google. I had to step away because I said, I heard this term, but what does it really mean, right?
Right. No, I love that.
And so I have a question about all that, about the structure, about the juxtaposition of prose, images, your supplemental digital material.
Yeah.
Did you always envision your book like this?
No.
Was it something that, your editors at Silent Books Publishing and your coaches along the way helped you?
So in the book, what I had was quotes. Mm-hmm. So it would be maybe a chapter full of words, maybe one or two photos, and then a quote. Mm-hmm. And then a chapter, some photos, and then a quote. I felt like that was a flow that would be inviting to multiple audiences. Mm-hmm. I felt like that's what I missed in books, where it's just straight words. Mm-hmm. So with that, I had the quotes. So one of the quotes, like, they got money for wars but can't feed the poor. Mm-hmm. That's Tupac, right? Mm-hmm. But when my self-publishing company read it, before it was done, Angel, the executive, she was like, well, you can't put this in here because this is Tupac's words. Mm-hmm. So you gotta get permission, or you gotta basically remove it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna get permission. And then I tried. It was really hard. I don't even. It's like ridiculous. Try to get permission from where I'm standing. Mm-hmm. So the way I envisioned the book, like this book comes from a downloaded place, from higher above me place. So I can't really change what was given to me. Mm-hmm. So in my heart of hearts, it's like, yo, this is how it was shown to me to be made. So what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do? And then the next thing that came through me was, well, if you put the quotes in these QR codes, mm-hmm. It can take them somewhere that you can edit. Mm-hmm. So now they can enjoy the book sort of like how I had it. But if there was an issue down the line, I could remove the quote from the book because it's online and not in print.
For development, right?
And that's what it became. Mm-hmm. It became, well, I can add photos now whenever I want. I can add chapters now whenever I want. I can add music, videos. We get somebody to do the cartoon.
Allows you to engage with your audience consistently, right?
Yeah. I call it the world's first infinite novel.
That's what I said. Yes, that's great. And we always talk about, as I'm an editor myself, and I always talk about, don't date your novel, right? Right. There are ways to let them know I'm talking about a certain neighborhood at this time without giving just a description of like all the businesses there or something. Like, you look, sometimes I'll read writers are trying to set a scene, and it looks like I'm reading the Yellow Pages, right? And I don't need to know every single last business and market that's going to take me there, especially if I'm a reader not as familiar with the area. Yes. I need to know about that vibe in that neighborhood, the vibe in that the scene that you're trying to feel, and how do you do that creatively, right? And so tell me a little bit about your experience with Silent Books Publishing and how Destiny was your editor, right? Yeah. And how Destiny helped be your coach, your cheerleader, and your content developer.
It was a lot of challenges. Mm-hmm. I think that's just part of life. Mm-hmm. Just you gotta be ready for challenges. But on a more positive end, I enjoyed how Destiny, similar to yourself, she went through the book, and like I could feel her passion through what she was extrapolating from the book. So like she would come back and she would be excited about X, or she would be excited about different characters, and like she was like one of those readers that you're thankful to have in your manuscript. And I think that was extremely valuable to have somebody that loved the book to read it before it got finalized.
Yep.
Yeah.
So shout out to Destiny. She's a founder of Silent Books Publishing and also editor extraordinaire. So X has, he has young men around him, folks around him, various people that he interacts with that can either make or break him. Something that I think is a consistent battle in a young black man's life. The folks you have around you, right?
Yeah.
Who is your favorite character in the book besides X?
I think that's a good question. I think it's that's an excellent question. I think it's Dubs.
Yeah.
You think it's Dubs too?
I was gonna say Dubs.
He's gonna say Dubs. Yeah, he's just this awesome character, man, and I want to unravel his story a little more. He's like a double agent, I won't give too much of it away, but what I think like a little Easter egg about him is that his job is to do a certain thing with X. He leads X, right, a certain place, and the Harriet Tubman was supposed to be on the $20 bill.
Yes.
So he is akin to her. That's why he's Dubs. So Dub means 20. Yeah. So he's akin to the underground situation with X in there. So I really like him.
Yeah, he's a good character, and like I said, book 2 we may see more character development 100%, from Dubs.
Yeah, 100%.
So we are wrapping up the first segment of the show. Stephon will be leaving us soon, but before you do, with all guests here at Books and Bounty TV, I would like you to give your recommendation to our audience out there for your bookish thing, person or group, and any upcoming events you have.
Okay. So my thing is sort of a thing. It's an app. Speechify. Speechify allows you to take photos of the pages of the book, and then you're able to have it read back to you by the app. So a lot of people prefer audiobooks because you're on the go, or for whatever reasons. Maybe you have a challenge when it comes to reading. Well, you have the app to guide you through the book through that medium. So I think that's my thing, and then
that's awesome because I'm all about accessibility.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a matter of convenience for folks who are just on the go. But for people who are visually impaired, like you said, have reading challenges, Speechify sounds like an awesome app. So that's a really cool choice.
So event.
Okay.
So I want to shout out again Black Wall Street. So in my experience, I'm gonna shout that out. I wish there was more people out there. It was an incredible experience. The vendors were on display. They had beautiful things that you could purchase. Your Nook was amazing. It was right on the strip on 25th Street where so many black businesses are thriving and incubating. And also the Black Book Festival. Yes. I mean, the Baltimore Book Festival. Yes. I'm sorry.
The Black Book Festival. Now that has a ring to it, though. Let's
that
down for later. That could be the bookish things in 2025.
Come on, because we need it.
But yeah, shout out to Jackie Cummings, Notre Maison Connects for Black Wall Street Expo. One, I want to say it just shows you the relationship Jackie has with the city of Baltimore, because it was originally scheduled for the 28th. Out of abundance of caution, it was rescheduled for October 12th. And the city actually permitted Jackie to reschedule it. So that just is a testament to the relationship she's building with small and local businesses in the area. It was hard for businesses to scramble and re-engage re-engaged within 2 weeks.
Right.
But I think originally there were upward of 100 registrants, and upon rescheduling, a little bit more than half of those businesses were able to show up. But next year, Mother Nature will work with us.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in action, bigger and better than ever.
Thank you for that.
And your bookish person or group?
I got a few. Definitely D. Watkins, Baltimore native, New York Times bestseller. Specifically Black Boy Smile. That book really hit home for me, and I felt like it was one of the most perfect books I've ever read. He also did the blurb in Project Black Beam.
I'll read that to you guys. This is what D. Watkins said about the book. Project Black Beam is one of those special pieces of art that we will still be discussing 20 years from now, maybe even in 2090, which is
2091.
2091.
Yeah.
Stephon Fowlkes' ideas are raw, brilliant, and urgent with prose that are equally sharp. This is an extremely impressive debut. Fowlkes is a true talent that deserves to be read. Speaking from one of the best.
Come on. Yeah, I appreciate that. And then you got Ta-Nehisi Coates with Between the World and Me. Yep. I saw you that's actually had that over there.
That's up there.
I'm trying to tell you about this collection she got over here. It's not to be played with. And then my personal favorite, the Frederick Douglass autobiography.
Yes, yeah, I have that too.
You got that one too.
We have both of those. Let's see. I have. So this is, you can show them. This is Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Okay. Between the World and Me. Can y'all see that?
We gotta go into my nonfiction section.
This a good one.
And then another life-changing story.
Yeah, this is the one. Written by himself. He gonna tell you how he felt, what went down, and in rare fashion, this is one of the brothers that it's more than a crime for him not to have been able to read and write, but he found a way. And this one right here blew me away when I read it. Like, I was like, yo, we almost didn't have this. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah. And so pick it up. Some game-changing books, life-changing books. Ta-Nehisi Coates also has a new book out called The Message. I haven't been able to pick that up yet, but Snug Books out on Harford Road. If you're watching tonight, make sure you hold a copy of that for me. So Stephon Fowlkes, bookish thing, person, group, and event.
Yep.
We have our 2 books here. D. Watkins was our bookish person, and your recent activity at the Baltimore Book Festival and Black Wall Street Expo were your bookish events. Stephon, any last words you would like to give the audience before we say goodnight?
Definitely. Thank you all for tuning in. Continue to stay plugged in. There's a lot of surprises and great things coming from Booksandbounty and myself. And yeah, have a good night.
And tell the folks how they can reach you.
You can reach me at either the book page, Project Black Beam. That's Project Black Beam with an M at the end. And you can reach me at That Boy Locust. But if you Google Project Black Beam, it'll show up. This is a very powerful book to add to your collection. Highly recommend it. Not just because it's mine, but because I've read some books and I know what I'm talking about.
Featured on the second half of the show will be Outraged by Brian Copeland, updates on my progress on that, as well as some of the upcoming events with Booksandbounty. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 5 minutes or less. Bye. See you soon.
I was hit before, you don't forget it, please.
Hello, everyone. Hi, we're back in the Books and Bounty She Suite live tonight on Twitch, YouTube, and other platforms. First, I want to shout out myself. Make sure you follow Books and Bounty at Books and Bounty on all social media platforms. You can check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Threads. You can also check out booksandbounty.com for more information on our editorial production services, where we tell the stories of indie publishing houses, self-publishing authors, and nonprofit organizations. If you need help with consultation and telling your story as a small business or local nonprofit, please let me know. You can reach me at Steph@booksandbounty.com or contact us through the website, booksandbounty.com. In the second half of the show, we talk a little bit about what I'm reading and what's in my to be read pile, and some upcoming bookish things, people that I will be meeting and participating in. First, I want to talk about the giveaway. The giveaway is ending soon. We have almost reached the goal, our first initial goal on Twitch. So if you are part of the first 50 followers and beyond, on those social media platforms, so on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, and elsewhere, you will get a chance to enter to win the Complete Legend of Orisha series by Tomi Adeyemi. So that means you will get a chance to win Children of Blood and Bone, Children of, let's see here, the lighting. Children of Blood and Bone actually was just the rights to this film was purchased by Paramount a few years ago. I believe Tomi will be casting soon if she has not started already. Tomi Adeyemi is really active on TikTok. Make sure you check her out. You'll get a chance to win this. The second book, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I've almost finished this one, guys. I'm about to get on to the third one soon. My goal is to complete the series by the end of the giveaway. We are almost there. And then finally, the third one, Children of Anguish and Anarchy. So make sure you follow us on Twitch, share the channel. We are one of the few and first creative channels producing content for the Twitch writing and reading category. We are proud to say that we like to engage our clients with new and modern channels to reach their own and unique audiences. Similarly to how Stephon Fowlkes recognized that with a new reader today, you have to engage them in different ways as well. So again, giveaway, follow on Twitch, social media platforms. Our initial first 50 our first 50 followers on Twitch and other platforms will get a chance to win the complete series. And shout out to some of those early followers like Midnight Madness and others who have been with us since the beginning. I see you, and you have already been entered to win. All right. One thing that I want to talk about that just passed this week is Indigenous Peoples Day. I found a collection that, as you know, I am a magpie, so attractive covers will catch my eye, attractive and interesting covers. It doesn't mean it always has to be beautiful or pretty, but it just has to really be something unique and different. This one here, this cover, let's see if I can get that. It's just gorgeous. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, right? But there's a twist. I like a good twist. It is an anthology of dark fiction. If you look more closely at what appears to be such a gorgeous cover, it is still a gorgeous cover, you will find monsters, snakes, bugs, creatures of the night, as we should say, right? And this saying, never whistle at night, I come to find out that it's also a saying and part of a superstition in Caribbean communities as well. But it dates back to indigenous peoples of the Americas. So this is an anthology of dark fiction. It is edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Alst Jr. Has an introduction by Stephen Graham Jones, and it is published by Vintage. This is something that's in the to be read pile. I haven't gotten into it yet, but the thing that I love about short stories collections is that when you keep one of these in your bag while you're in queue, while you're waiting for anything, waiting for the kids to pick them up. It's something that's a quick read. You don't feel like you're obligated to, it's something that you can get a quick snippet of. And the thing that I love about the craft of short storytelling, in oral and in written form, is that you have to be a scientific master of your craft in order to write a short story that is going to leave the reader satisfied, and that is going to teach the reader something different every time you read it from different perspectives. So I'm really excited to get into this as we continue our series on focusing on science, dark fiction, and horror. And in celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day, you guys check out Never Whistle at Night. So, upcoming on Booksandbounty, I want to talk about, you guys have seen these books. I think one of them is flashing across the screen now. But Tananarive Due is one of my favorite authors. I've been reading Ms. Due for upwards almost to 2 decades now. I discovered this author in college as part of a Black women's literature course. And the first 2 novels I read by Tananarive Due was My Soul to Take and My Soul to Keep. And these are Black vampire. She did Black vampire before Black vampire became a trend, and did it awesomely and captivatingly. And what really made me take a deep dive, and I think I sort of look for in probably my affinity towards Black fantasy and science fiction, is what does it mean to be an oppressed people as well as be immortal? What does it mean to have Black girl magic, but also have the double burden, right? What does that mean? And Tananarive Due does a great job at exploring those types of themes. So I want to feature on Booksandbounty tonight The Wishing Pool and Other Stories. Again, Magpie did this cover. The Wishing Pool and Other Stories, and then another short story collection. And since we're talking about, this is published by Akashic Books out of Brooklyn, New York. You can follow them at Akashic Books, AKASHIC Books, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. The same for the website. And I'm trying to get a credit. Here we go. This cover design is from TG Design. Tananarive Due is an award-winning author who teaches Black horror and Afrofuturism at UCLA. She also has a podcast. Her stories have been featured on LeVar Burton Reeves' In Realm, and she is an executive producer on Shudder's documentary Horror Noir: The History of Black Horror. Due and her husband, collaborator Stephen Barnes, wrote for Jordan Peele's The Twilight Zone and for Shudder's anthology film Horror Noir. They also co-wrote the Black horror graphic novel The Keeper, illustrated by Marco Finnegan. Due and Barnes co-host a podcast, Life Writing, Write Your Life. I highly encourage you to check inspiring writers to check out that podcast. They really have some great tips, lessons, learn from some of the best-selling authors and people doing work in publishing. So that was something that had already was on my shelf. While building my bookish community here in Baltimore, I encountered a young woman by the name of Jalissa Whitley, who runs book trips. We'll talk more about that on an upcoming episode. Who then introduced me virtually to Emma Akpan, who goes by Emanism. That's EMMANISM on Instagram. Because Jalissa understood, I told her about my love of dark fiction and science fiction. And particularly Tananarive's Due work, they let me know about Emanism's The Black Girl's Horror Guide. Emma will host the first meeting of the Black Girls Horror Guide at People's Book in Tacoma Park, Maryland on October 21st. When I post some highlights from today, I'll make sure to link to Emma's profile on Instagram as well as the sign up sheet. I think the structure will be book, then horror movie, then book, and so on like that. The first book that we are reading, and this is my assignment for this weekend. It's a big one. I gotta get through it though. I'm excited. Is The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. And this one is set Gracetown, Florida, June 1950. And let's read a little bit more. This is a Sage Press book. The jacket design is by Face Out Studio. The photographs by Ella Moss. Archangel and some of Adobe stock is in there. Copyright 2023 Simon & Schuster. So a little bit about this book. I'll read the blurb so you guys can see if you're interested in it. But I highly recommend you guys check out Tananarive Due if you are a fan of Octavia Butler. If you are picked up this new book that's on my To Be Read show by Tajes Girma. This is a popular one right now on Book Talk. Her mother is Tananarive Due. You understand me? Run to your local bookstore now. If you're in Baltimore, Charm City Books, Snug Books, Greedy Reads. Run to your local indie booksellers and pick up some Tananarive Due. So that will be the first book for the Black Girls Horror Guide on October 21st. Emma will be a guest on Booksandbounty TV that following Tuesday on the 22nd. So make sure you tune in next week and every following Tuesday at 10 p.m. Tonight's was a special edition, Turning the Page with author Stephon Fowlkes, but we are usually live Tuesday nights. You can also catch us live in the community. For example, earlier we were at the Silent Books Publishing fundraiser. They are looking for sponsors to cover internships and other activities. So make sure you check them out at Silent Books Publishing. And finally, as we close out our segment today, I always let you guys know what I'll be reading tonight. I am on assignment for, not actually on assignment. I was invited, and a book that sparked my interest that I wanted to read was sent to me, and I'm currently reading that for review. That is Brian Copeland's, oh my goodness, sorry guys. As you know, earlier I said I was getting over a cold. Brian Copeland's Outrage, and that is with Black Odyssey Media. So that's what we'll be doing when we get cozy tonight in my reading chair, and I'll be reading that. It is actually in ebook form. That is something that is rare in the Booksandbounty She Suite, but when ebooks were first introduced years ago, they weren't that great. They have become leaps and bounds. I'm actually coming to appreciate the annotation tools in ebooks, but my heart will forever be with turning a page. You cannot get that experience elsewhere. But we'll talk about audiobooks, different forms of books, and other areas of digital media on an upcoming episode, I'm sure. So right now, I'll be setting up. I'll turn on some lo-fi, get comfortable with your book. I'll meet you in the chat. Let me know what you're reading tonight. Again, thanks for turning the page with Booksandbounty. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, 10 o'clock on Twitch. And check out highlights on Twitch and YouTube tomorrow, as well as on bemorenews.com. All content from Booksandbounty will also be shared on the Black USA News Network through bemorenews.com. Shout out to Donnie Glover, journalpreneur extraordinaire, and make sure you tune in next week. I'm sorry. He knew it's like his perfect time. He knew. He said, "All right, mommy said good night." So that means it's good night. Everybody, let me introduce reoccurring special guest here in the Books and Bounty She Suite is Kodak. It's my big boy. Kodak is an American Staffordshire Terrier. Say hi, everybody. Say hi, Ko. If you don't know about American Staffordshire Terriers, they have some awesome heroic ancestry. The only dog to reach sergeant in the U.S. military is an American Staffordshire Terrier. They have a Sergeant Stubby has a movie about him. You can look it up. So this is my big boy. He's just a big old honey bunny bear, though. And because no one can get too much attention, this is my heart, my senior dog. This is Lexi. Lexi is a boxer mix because mutts are the best. Sorry, Kodak. And she is 10 years old. I've had her since she was 6 weeks. I got her in a down on the Eastern Shore, way back. All kind of, oh Lord, that was a scary trip. But I got her. That's $50 I ever spent in my life. Kodak, we got him the holidays after we moved into our new home. And he is 4 years old. We got him when he was 2 years old from Maryland SPCA. Adopt, adopt, adopt. There are so many lovely dogs in shelters that could use a home. And he fit right in. And so this is my pair. And Kodak is in my reading chair right now, so I'll probably stay here to read. And meet me in the chat, everyone. Let me know what you're reading tonight. So tonight I am reading Outrage by Brian Copeland. I'm a little bit more than halfway through. I expect to finish this tomorrow. So there's something I always say that I love when an author can make the setting feel like another character in the book. Like you can't do without the prose around the description of the setting. You get trapped in it. You can envision it in your mind. And this story is about the narrator and protagonist point of view is of a TV reporter who recently got some bad news about his career, and is doing a story on uh, police that have been killed, that recent police killings, and they happen to be police who have killed innocent black men in the line of duty. And suspicions arise, usual suspects and others. Getting back around to the setting descriptions, it seems very analytical, very much, I think, trying to be in the voice of reporter, staccato, note taking, you know, took Van Ness to I 80 West, crossed the Bay Bridge, then headed to I 80 East. Or there just be sort of a yellow page listing of restaurants, stores, and things in the area. What this author does do is a good job of keeping the story moving. I do like the pace of the story, but that part doesn't really leave much to the imagination. I mean, I guess if you're from that area, it'll make you get into it and have some nostalgia around the story. But this also is a mystery, thriller, outraged, right? And there's timing around these certain deaths, travel to and fro between around this reporter. I have some suspicions, right? I feel like there could be a turn, and I'm like, oh, that is why it's done that way, right? Waiting for that moment. We're halfway through. We'll see if we get there. But this is Outrage by Brian Copeland from Black Odyssey Media. You can follow them on TikTok and other places at the same Black Odyssey Media.